I'll tell you what we believe. We believe the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, period. Particularly arms, as the United States Supreme Court has said, particularly arms that are in common use. Ms. Okafor, are handguns in common use?
They are, Congressman.
How about AR-15s? Are they in common use in the country today?
Yes,
Millions of people have them.
24.6 million.
Are firearms used in self-defense, Ms. Okafor?
Yes, 1.6 million every year.
Unfortunately, it's probably more and more common in light of the Democrats' ridiculous policies of defunding the police, no cash bail, not prosecuting criminals when they do crimes, letting people who attack a United States congressman running for governor, letting him out on bail in the state of New York. That probably, unfortunately, leads to the idea that people need guns to protect themselves, their family, their property, right?
Right. It's a human right, again, guaranteed by the Constitution.
Are AR-15s used in self-defense?
Yes, I actually described them in my testimony.
And you train women to protect themselves, and it's something you know about firsthand. So you actually are out there working with women across the country. You're helping train them so they're ready if some person wants to attack them, why they need a firearm to protect themselves. Is that right?
Absolutely, yes.
And AR-15s are used to defend others from criminals, right? That's part of your training, what you're helping people understand.
Yes.
Mr. Daniels, is it fairly common that AR-15s, your product, are used to protect innocent people from criminal attackers?
Yes, sir. As Ms. Okafor stated, millions of times, hundreds of thousands, or up to millions of times a year, firearms are used for self-defense.
Including the one you make, right?
Including AR-15s.
And that's becoming more and more popular with people when they're thinking about defending themselves, their family, and their property to use the firearm you manufacture. Is that right?
That's correct, sir.
The Democrats beef, we should just cut to the chase here. The Democrats beefs with the Second Amendment. They don't like the Second Amendment. They want to get rid of the Second Amendment, but they can't because in the Constitution, the American people like the fact that we have the right to keep and bear arms to protect ourselves, our family, our property. They like that fact, and it's a cumbersome process to amend and change the Constitution. So they can't do that. They're going to say, so we're going to ban certain type of weapons. We're going to call them assault weapons. We're going to try to ban them. Or they're going to come after gun manufacturers and try to sue them. Piece of legislation that unfortunately passed out of the Judiciary Committee last week. That's their course of action because their beef is with the Second Amendment. They can't change that, so they're going to go around it. And they go after gun manufacturers with this bill sponsored by our Democrat colleague, to allow gun manufacturers to be sued for the actions of heinous, evil people who use firearms in the wrong way and in a destructive way. Isn't that right, Ms. Okafor?
That's correct, and I would like to say, and that's why I've said vocally, and GOA concurs, that abolishing the ATF is precisely that, because it's unconstitutional, but especially the fact of the matter is that they use that as a bureaucratic way to go around an elected body to be able to put restrictions on firearms. And so that is why the ATF should not exist.
Their beef with the Second Amendment, though, is not limited to going after gun manufacturers and allowing them to be sued. It's not limited to banning certain weapons that they want to define as assault weapons or whatever else they want to try to ban. It's not limited to their ridiculous red flag concept, bribing states to do red. It's also what they did through the bureaucracy, through Treasury with Operation Choke Point, where they tried to choke off the financing of gun manufacturers as a way to get at the Second Amendment, because they know they can't do it, they can't change it via the Constitution like you're supposed to if you're going to try to do that. Is that accurate, Ms. Okafor?
That is correct.
All right, Madam Chair, this is, look, I hope this effort goes nowhere. It looks like, at least if you can believe the press today, looks like the Democrats aren't going to bring up the assault weapons ban on the floor this week. That's a win for liberty. That's a win for the Second Amendment. Not going to bring up looks like they're not going to bring up the bill that Mr. Schiff is sponsoring, which would allow gun manufacturers to be sued in a ridiculous way. So those are hopefully some wins for the American people and a win for the Constitution. With that, I yield back.